Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might see it in a minute.
Hey, listen, they got a rematch. They got a rematch. And that fight was good. And obviously, I've seen a lot of boxers come out and say, Tank lost that fight. I think the fight was good. I think when I looked at the scorecard, I think maybe going into round 7, maybe 7 or 8, maybe 7. I think Tank was up on the scorecard for that matter. But Lamont Roach had always been good. He had always been good, and he had the right style. The styles make fights, and Lamont Roach's style made that fight what it is.
Yeah,
he made it what it is.
It's
and he made no mistakes too all night.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tank was trying to. Tank hit him with a couple of good shots, but Roach didn't move.
Clean ones.
Gervonta Davis is getting roasted left and right. Fans, analysts, and even ESPN insiders are calling him out for straight-up dodging the Lamont Roach rematch. And let's be honest, the fight world saw what went down. That draw was a robbery, and Lamont should have walked out of that ring as the clear winner. But now, when it's time to run it back and settle the score, Tank is out here ducking, dodging, and talking about retirement.
Night with a majority draw against Lamont Roach. The 30-year-old Davis, who is undefeated and was the heavy favorite, took a knee in the middle of the 9th round before retreating to his corner and remembered to wipe his face with a towel. The unusual move, essentially a timeout, should have been assessed a knockdown, and Steve Wilson appeared to begin the 10 count. But Willis then can be heard on the broadcast telling Davis, "You take a knee like that, it looks like a knockdown." However, the fight continued without Roach being credited with knocking Davis down.
ESPN experts Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith aren't holding back. Yeah, they are ripping him apart, calling him a coward, and saying he's too scared to risk his legacy with a real fight. And after what we saw in that 9th round, yeah, Tank's looking funny in the light.
Shakur, did you think it was a draw? No. Which one Lamont won? Who you thought won? Lamont. You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds? I don't know. You still want the Tank Davis fight? You said what? You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or a fire out of it? Or is it still the same?
I mean, we're going to see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this. So,
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in really?
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence has been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Keyshawn, what's your worst? Shakur, what's your worst? Keyshawn, he just won his first title. Good.
Get this. During a recent segment on ESPN's Max on boxing, Max Kellerman straight up said, if Gervonta really believed he won that fight, he'd be running to prove it in a rematch. But what's he doing instead? Dodging. That tells me everything I need to know. And he's got a point. Real fighters don't run from a challenge. If you're a champion, you prove it. But instead of stepping up, Tank's been MIA, barely talking about the rematch, and when he does, it's excuse after excuse. Stephen A. Smith even took it further, calling out Tank's whole mindset. He said, Gervonta's acting like he's already retired. He's out here talking about his legacy, like he's done with the sport. But if your last fight ended in controversy, what kind of legacy are you leaving? And it's not just the analysts, it's former fighters too. Timothy Bradley, a dude who's been in the ring and knows what it's like to fight through the fire, called Tank out hard. He said, Tank looked defeated after that fight. He didn't argue, didn't demand a rematch. That tells me he knows he got lucky with that draw.
Right back.
And you know the straight right through the guard, through a southpaw, because that's what Tank is, a southpaw fighter.
Yeah.
Hey, that jab, hey, he kept him up off him. He didn't back down. And you know normally Tank starts slow, comes on.
Yeah.
Roach said, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
He said, I'm here for a long time and a good time. I ain't going nowhere.
I'm not sure what kind of conditioning Lamont Roach did, but whatever it is, I salute him. Because everyone else at some point past round 7, normally when fighting Tank, they die down.
Yeah.
They die down. Their volume of punching decreases. Everybody gets tired after round 7 and on, but his condition was up to par. They went to war all 12 rounds. That was a really good
but I thought Roach won the fight. I did, Ocho.
If they count that knockdown, yes.
I thought even without the knockdown, I thought he won it. I thought he had. I mean, look, I know Tank landed punches, but
because he was aggressive.
Roach was the more aggressive fighter.
And let's be real, if the boxing world can see it, Tank can see it too.
I'm hearing rumors that Tank, Roach, Las Vegas in June.
Tank, Roach, okay, yeah.
I was hoping that it'd just be in the DMV because I feel like that makes the most sense. But now that fight is prime time. When before it was why you fighting him, Tank? Now it's you gotta fight him, Tank.
That fast.
Yeah, right?
That fast.
And that just goes to show you just how fast, you could just change, you could turn the odds on the casino. Now Lamont can have his pick of the litter. Shakur could fight Lamont next. Keyshawn could fight Lamont next. And those are all fights that we watch.
You know what? Bet on another draw. Bet on the draw.
Yeah.
It's the best way to go. Bet on the draw. That's where I think you make the money. I think what they gonna do is they gonna even the odds so big, so crazy, you ain't gonna make no money betting on either one of them individually.
Yeah.
So the money gonna be on the odds. That's just what I think. It didn't come out yet, but if they fight in Vegas and they fight, and to be honest, I don't like that.
Here's the thing. This rematch needs to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts. The first fight was way too controversial to leave it as a draw. Because let's break it down. If the judges weren't on some BS, Lamont Roach would have bagged that win easily. Every major stat was in his favor.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate True Boxing Media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
Don't believe me? Hear it from CompuBox. According to their data, Roach threw a total of 400 punches, landing 112, while Davis was more economical, throwing 279 and landing 103. This means Roach not only outthrew, but also outlanded Davis over the course of the fight.
Lightweight and undefeated record on the line against amateur rival Lamont Roach Jr. and on the unofficial scorecard of Larry Hazard. Well, Roach is closing the gap.
This is where you look back on those early rounds where not much happened, but the judges have preferred Roach. It's an interesting spot for him to be in. This is everything he said he would do so far, he's doing.
Counter right, nice right uppercut. Roach taking the fight to Davis. Davis high guard, wanting to explode with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaning with right.
He took a knee.
He took a knee. What is he doing?
He forgot his... It's got to be a knock.
What in the world is happening?
Took a knee, he's got to count.
I understand. You take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right? Back up. Back up.
That's a generous call from him.
Did he not take a knee?
He did take a knee.
And again, wow, okay.
I thought he had hurt his hand. Did he not take the mouthpiece to come out?
That's what I thought. Oh, here comes Davis. Davis exploding. And Roach meeting fire with fire.
Roach eating some big shots and coming right back.
A minute and a half left in what has been an eventful ninth. We thought Davis might have gone down for the first time in his career. Instead, he exploded and Roach took the shots and fired back some of his own.
Roach has to be careful.
and rights. Roach doing a pretty good job of deflecting some of these shots. Short left hand from Roach. Counter right hand lands by the challenger.
This arena is on their feet right now.
Final minute of the ninth. Lead right hook, left hand from Davis.
Never expected Roach to be taking these shots and countering and answering with his own big shots right in the center of the ring.
Roach feigning with the right uppercut and the left hook. Davis, high guard, taking a look. 30 seconds left in the ninth. Davis misses with the left and Roach. Check right hand there. Chopping counter right.
It's a really nice right hand. It's landing, but do not fall in love with it, Roach. If you throw it more than once at a time, you're going to get countered.
Another lead right hand there for Roach.
Yes, Abner, you're right. Davis, an expert at taking advantage of predictable patterns. Very good at reading the situation, but hey, he's in tough here right now.
So, yeah, the math ain't mathing. The numbers don't lie, and Lamont was the better fighter that night. And don't even get me started on that 9th round controversy. Tank took a knee, clear as day. But what did referee Steve Willis do? Nothing. Didn't call it a knockdown, didn't take points, just let Tank slide like it was no big deal. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Lamont wouldn't have gotten that same treatment.
This is my opinion. Sure. It was a great fight. It was a close fight. Depending on what they do with that decision of taking the knee, depending if the commission reverses the decision, or I think the draw was meant to be. So I like the draw. No, if you take a knee, man, if you take a knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the referee. Maybe he was a little starstruck. Maybe he was a little, because he loves Tank. He loves New York. He loves the big lights. The referee with the eyes, he's like, a point should be deducted if you take a knee. It's a fact. It's in the rule book, right? The fact that they didn't take it away, then that's where the controversy is, right? It's not, look, did Gervonta get hit? Was he dazed? Who knows? Only he knows. But what I saw, when you take a knee, that's an automatic point. That's just the rule. This is not basketball. This is not, this is not basketball where, wait, hold on, my ankle hurts. Hold on, let me take a timeout. You don't take timeouts in boxing. It just doesn't happen. Whether he had something in his eye or not, you have to fight. There's 3 minutes to fight. So if you take a knee, if you go to your corner, the rules are the rules. And I don't know what New York is gonna settle on, but the rules are the rules.
Now, as far the rematch goes, from the jump, Gervonta was already talking about retirement in the lead-up to his fight with Lamont Roach. During their initial face-offs, he hinted that he might be calling it quits soon, saying he's accomplished everything he wanted in the sport. But let's be real, nobody expected his last few fights to go down like this.
It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
Whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. I thought it was a good fight.
Appreciate it, Danny.
Now that the Roach fight didn't go his way, instead of setting the record straight with a rematch, Tank is doubling down on retirement talk. It's almost like he's trying to run from the controversy, not fix it. But this is not the legacy he wants to leave behind. Let's not forget, Tank built his career off brutal knockouts and dominance, not controversial draws, taking a knee in the 9th round, and getting roasted by analysts for dodging a rematch. If this really is the end of his career, is this how he wants to go out? with people questioning his heart? His fans deserve closure, and so does his legacy.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that, or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
If he's really that guy, then he needs to step up, take the rematch, and prove he's still the knockout king. Or else, retirement is gonna feel more like a retreat.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we take it?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's gonna be soon. I'm hoping it's gonna be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
For the longest time, Gervonta Davis was in the conversation with names like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney.
6-7 more fights and I'm naming names. One of the guys, obviously, you and Shakur got into it on Twitter. You was like, you wanted them 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
For sure?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
Do you think that's going to be your hardest fight?
Hell no.
Nah?
Wow.
Because he a good boxer, nigga. Like, that's when I look at y'all two as the best in the division.
How? Show me something that he did spectacular. Show me something that he did outrageous. Show me.
Right,
his power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
You don't think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around. He don't got no technique. And his offense is the same thing. Go look at his fights.
So you
I
feel
probably
like
pin him on game, probably time.
Yeah, hold on, but you feel like it's easy work though. You like,
come on, bro.
Fans, analysts, and even boxing legends were hyping up the idea of Tank stepping in the ring with these elite fighters. People wanted to see if he could hang with the best of the best. But after his performance against Lamont Roach, that hype is starting to fade.
The rules that he didn't get hit with a punch. He didn't turn his back like he wanted to quit. It's just like when you get a thumb in the eye, it's a pop.
He did turn his eye. He did turn his back.
But he didn't turn his back like he was going to quit. Like you've seen some guys turn him. He obviously mentioned that he had something in his eye, and it wasn't from a punch. It was time in between the shots. I think that by the time he wanted that, or he took a knee. But I think in the rules it states that you're allowed to do that. If you go back and you read some of the rules, I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but I think it was upheld in New York that it was okay for him to do that. I think part of the rules state that it was okay. As a coach on the other side, I would have.
Yeah. Of course, right? Of course.
I would have thrown a fit, man.
Let's be real. Before this fight, the narrative was that Tank was one of the most dangerous punchers in the division. And if anyone could take out guys like Haney or Shakur, it was him. But now, fans aren't so sure. If he struggled against Roach, a fighter many believed he should have run through, what's he gonna do against someone like Shakur, who's literally one of the most skilled defensive boxers in the game right now?
Floyd, when you think about the fighters who are fighting now, can you give me your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 when it comes to the lightweight? Who you would put where?
As of right now, the two guys, the biggest puncher, I feel at the 135 would probably be Gervonta Tank Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 would be hands down Shakur Stevens.
What is it about him? Because I know you have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power to sustain?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there. I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to that next level.
Even Floyd Mayweather himself said that Shakur is one of the best in the division. And, you know, Floyd doesn't just hand out compliments like that. The pressure is on Tank to answer these doubts, and right now, he's running away from them instead. He built his whole career off being a knockout machine, someone who finishes fights in brutal fashion.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. I just wanna know.
But now, the narrative has flipped. Instead of debating whether Tank would beat Haney or Shakur, fans are wondering if he would even last against them. If Gervonta retires with all these questions hanging over his head, his legacy takes a massive hit. The KO King can't go out like this.
How do you assess his power after being in there for 12?
He got decent power. He got decent power for sure. I ain't gonna say it's exaggerated. I told y'all I got a chin. I ain't going like that. It's just not gonna happen. But like I said, I see why he knocked people out, and I think he felt my power too. Like, I think that's what negated a lot of his shots. And once I took his best shot, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to roll. Like I said, I knew I had a chin. I mean, I spar guys that were like junior middleweights, like current champions that was at that weight. So I know I can take a punch. He's twitchy in there. Like, I do see why he knocked people out. I mean, like, being up close and personal, obviously I seen it on the TV like that, but I understand why he knocked people out. I'm not going to tell y'all because y'all going to tell him.
Gervonta Davis is standing his ground, refusing to buy into the narrative that he didn't deserve the win against Lamont Roach. In his mind, he did enough, landed the bigger shots, and controlled the fight just like he always does.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
But let's be honest, the whole fight world and their mothers thought Lamont was about to walk out of that ring victorious. The way fans, analysts, and even pro boxers reacted after the decision was announced? Pure shock. Nobody expected a draw. In fact, most people weren't even entertaining that possibility. It felt like a robbery. And get this, even the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, admitted that a lot went wrong during the fight. That's right, the very people in charge of regulating the fight came forward and basically said, yeah, we messed up. From referee Steve Willis letting Tank get away with taking a knee in the 9th round, to sketchy judging that somehow resulted in a draw instead of a clear win for Roach, the whole thing was a mess.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is, like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see, like, him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me because I'm right beside him. You could see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right.
But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take no
ref.
time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
You know how many
put Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he fucked the fight up though. The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating shit or nothing like that. But like he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref gonna be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
When the commission itself acknowledges major mistakes were made, that's when you know the controversy is real. But despite all that, Tank isn't budging. He's firing shots at anyone questioning his win, doubling down that he was the rightful winner that night. But let's be real, if that were true, why does everyone, including the commission, think otherwise? At this point, it's clear Gervonta Davis is in one of the toughest spots of his career. He went from being the undefeated knockout machine to a fighter who barely scraped by with a draw in a fight the whole world thought he lost.
Man, he got lucky at the draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, you gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned. Oh my God. But God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
And now, instead of running it back and proving the doubters wrong, he's dodging the rematch, hinting at retirement, and acting like the controversy doesn't exist. But let's be real, it does. Even NYSAC admitted mistakes were made, analysts are torching him, and fans are calling him out left and right. If Tank really wants to protect his legacy, a rematch isn't an option. It's a necessity.
I don't want to say that's the blueprint. I just think that, that my plan unfolded the right way.
Because let's be honest, if he backs out now, he'll forever be remembered as the guy who ducked Lamont Roach instead of the champion who silenced the critics. The ball's in Tank's court, but the world is watching to see what he does next. Will he prove he's still that guy, or will he let his legacy take a major hit? But what do you guys think? Is Tank really dodging Roach, or is the fight world overreacting? Do you think he should run it back or move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're loving the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more boxing drama, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. I'll see you in the next one.